Hey, this is Mike. Thank you so much for choosing this video. Today I'm in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, visiting East Coast Honda, and I'm checking out a 2020 Honda Accord in the Sport trim level. This Accord is sitting on 235/40 Goodyear tires wrapped around 19-inch alloy wheels with a gloss black finish. It also has four-wheel disc brakes with ventilated rotors in the front and solid rotors in the back. The name of this color is Lunar Silver Metallic. And it's a cloudy day, but it's basically a regular silver color, nothing really special about it to see in the sunlight. Now here in the front, typically this portion right here is a chrome. So you can see right here, this is actually smoked out, so it's darker, it's not quite as prominent, but it looks pretty neat. I don't know if you can see that. It's reflective, but it's not like a shiny chrome like the badge. You can see the contrast there. The rest of the grille is a gloss black. Now with this color, you can actually see this accent down in here. With the black colors, black vehicle colors, this part, it kind of blends in and you can't really notice it, but this one you can see it nice. Now the headlights are LEDs for the low beam. It's a reflector, multi-reflector LED for your low beams. Your high beams are standard halogen bulbs. Your fog lights are a multiple LED projector housing. The daytime running lights are these LEDs across the bottom, and mostly the light comes out on the side. The Honda sensing safety features are accomplished with this little camera right in here in the windshield. Right in that little triangle is a camera. You also have a radar adaptive cruise control sensor right in here. Looking at the profile, you can see it has body colored handles, and the upper portion of the side mirror here is body colored. And with the light casting on the vehicle right now, you can see the lines pretty good. So you can see this line that goes across here and down here. And there's wheel protection, wheel well protection right here and right here. And that's a flat black, kind of blending in, doesn't stand out too much. Now the pillar here and here, the pillars are gloss black, so that kind of solidifies the glass, especially if you tint the windows. And then the bottom portion of the trim is black, but the upper portion is chrome. This is what the key looks like. It's a proximity key system, kind of a half proximity system. Has push button start, but you do have to push the buttons here to lock and unlock the doors. You also have the ability to open up the trunk, and a panic button, physical key on the inside. But the key itself is rounded off. It's not too heavy, and it's fairly easy to keep with you without being too cumbersome. Now let's go ahead and push this panic button. It kind of beeps the horn, flashes the light. It has a nice strong horn. And let's open up the trunk. When you push that, kind of pops up right there. It doesn't go all the way up, but it gives you enough to where you can get a hold of it and lift it up. Now, like I mentioned, you do have to have the key out and push the buttons to lock and unlock the doors using the remote control. And the physical key on the inside, if you need to use that, there's the physical key cylinder here on the driver's side only. Here's the inside of the passenger side door, and it's all black basically, except for the few pieces here. Now, the soft touch surfaces are here and here and here. So this is like a vinyl material around your arm. All this part comes in right here. This portion separating it is hard plastic. It looks like this. This is actually soft. Now this is like a Nerf material. It's like a synthetic Nerf material, but it is soft touch. Soft touch, and then this is your hard plastics down here. So this is enclosed. You can use that as a pocket. The handle kind of extends. It kind of has an accent here, so the handle kind of blends in. Kind of looks like a hockey stick in a way. And then this is kind of like a, I guess, a simulated carbon fiber look, that kind of thing. Just a little accent there on the door. Then the pockets are here, kind of in a more forward position. Has a bottle holder and a storage area, and it's wide open here, so you can put in pretty good sized bottles. There's a speaker, a tweeter speaker here in the pillar, and then you have a larger speaker there in the door. There's your threshold. Manually adjusted seats here on the passenger side. So it has a combination of synthetic leather and cloth, like a microfiber, smooth, slick, silky type cloth there in the center. It does have some contrast stitching in white. Overall, I think the seats are really comfortable and they're just easy to get in and out of, especially with that slick surface in the middle. You can kind of slip in and out. It's nice. There's your leg room. Wide open. Just the tiniest little bit amount of tapering here, but it's just a wide open leg space. This is hard touch, and then that's a soft kind of rubbery surface up there. Lockable glove compartment opens up. Smooth plastic on the inside. Now the front door has a quite wide opening space to get in the vehicle. Head space and everything is nice and wide open, and the door swings out quite wide as well. The back door seems like it doesn't swing quite as much. Maybe it's just my angle or whatever, but the opening is much smaller, especially here at the bottom, and it tapers there at the back, so you got to watch that out. Watch out for that when you're getting in and out of the vehicle, especially considering the position of the seats. Now the inside of the back door, a little bit different. No carbon fiber look. Hard touch instead of soft touch here and here, and then you have your soft touch down in here. Does have the latch system or ISOFIX for car seats, and it lifts up like so. So you can see the anchors. I mean the latches there. So it's just a little flap covering them up, so there's not like a plastic cover to lose or anything, so that's pretty decent. Armrest and cup holders here in the center, which you can lift up out of your way. Basically turns into a bench seat, so you can have a center passenger. There's a pocket on the back of this passenger seat, but not the driver's seat. A little storage area right here, and check it out. Big old hump in the middle, so the center passenger will have to deal with that. But on the either side, the floor is quite low, so that way your knees aren't sticking up in the air too much if you're a rear passenger. Taking a look at the back of the vehicle, up here we have a body colored shark fin antenna. Your third brake light is here at the base of the glass. There's a little deck lid spoiler right in here that's on top of the design of the trunk. So you can see it's just a little bit of an accent there, but it already has that kind of spoiler look to the actual metal of the vehicle. The taillights are powered by standard bulbs, halogen. Your backup camera is way over here offset. So right in here is a light, and there's offset, and there's no button or anything back here to open up the trunk. You will have to use the key if you're back here and not in the vehicle. Check it out, it has these dual exhaust ports, and actually have exhaust flowing through them. They're more like exhaust surrounds, I guess you can say. Okay, so opening up the trunk, you can use the button inside the vehicle. I'll show you that shortly. Or you can use the key and just press and hold it, and it pops up. And now we can just go ahead and lift it up. So if the trunk's dirty or whatever, once you pop it open, you reach here on the inside so you can lift it up. It takes almost no effort to lift it up. It has the insulation there on the inside of the trunk, which is nice, especially if you're cramming your trunk full of stuff. It does help protect whatever you're putting in here. And you have the hangers there on the sides. But it does have some exposed metal and wires and stuff under here. You can see there's one light there in the center. So this is an issue if you're putting big luggage or whatever in here and you're cramming it in. So then you have all these wires and exposed metal to possibly damage your stuff if you're really forcing it in here. You can fold down the seats. You can see the little latch here for that seat and that seat there, and then you can see it's a 60-40 split, so you can fold down one seat or the other and add to your cargo space while still maintaining some passenger space, or you can fold them both down and have a lot more space here. Now this one has this cargo mat. It's like a plastic mat. This isn't like standard with every vehicle, but this does have it in place, and you can see this is what the carpet looks like underneath it. And then this lifts up, and then you'll see your tools for your spare tire. And then under that, it's like styrofoam piece, is your spare tire. And you can have a little bit of space around it, I guess, if you want to add some stuff. You also have in this styrofoam place a little spot right here to put some stuff, just to kind of add a, that's probably for triangles or whatever. But you can put some stuff in there just around the spare tire, just like, you know, roadside stuff. At least I would anyway. The fuel door is here on the driver's side, and it's locking. So it's locked right now because I had the vehicle locked. So as soon as I unlock the vehicle and it unlocks the doors, it also unlocks the fuel door. And it's a capless design. You just don't have to worry about a cap, getting your hands dirty with a cap, or forgetting to tighten it all the way, that kind of thing. As long as the key's inside the vehicle, you start it up by putting your foot on the brake, holding it, and push this button. Here's the floorboard in front of the driver's seat. Now you can see, unlike the passenger, this one has the places for the floor mats to hook in place to keep it in place for you. Floor mats are not in place yet, but there's your accelerator and brake pedal and a footrest here on the left side, all sporty looking with the raised rubber grips on them, aluminum pedals, which is pretty cool. Let's take a look under the hood. To open the hood, there is a latch here in the very center. You just reach in right above the emblem, just reach in, move it to the left, and lift up. And the hood's not that heavy, but does require a prop to hold up. See, there's the latch, there's the prop, and it swings up. There's actually two places you can put it. Right here is the normal spot, and then here is the secret spot. That's the place if you want to lift the hood up really high and have better access, you can put it there. See how high the hood is when you put it in that lower spot versus the center part? Now you will have to lift it up that high, and you have to be prepared for that, but it does give you plenty of access to the engine compartment. Okay, so you notice it doesn't have a big plastic cover over the engine, which is nice. I prefer that. I actually like to see the engine instead of a big plastic cover myself. And it has an insulated portion around the battery, and that battery is easy to get to right here in a high position, completely open, and it has an insulated firewall back there. And also you notice there's a seal across the back, where there's also a seal across the side and the front, and the front part is actually at the top of on the hood there, but it seals up the engine compartment. This helps out with airflow as well as noise, that kind of thing. Also, the top of these strut towers are braced in to the unibody structure of the vehicle. And if you want to look up something interesting about the way these are made, look up ACE, A-C-E, ACE body structure. And it's basically part of the safety of Hondas in general, where they contour the metal and they contour the frame of the vehicle to disperse energy in case of an accident. It's pretty neat, so you can look into that if you like. So this is a 4-cylinder, 1.5 liter 4-cylinder engine, and you can see it's oriented this way. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4 coil packs, and that gives you the orientation of the way the engine is sitting. It's a turbocharged engine, so the actual turbocharger is right up in here. So the air comes in, and goes through and compresses the incoming air using the exhaust, which is right in here, and then it brings it around to the intake in the back of the vehicle. So the turbocharger compresses and forces the air into the engine, so that way the engine doesn't have to waste energy by sucking air into the engine. So that's kind of the whole idea behind turbocharged engines. Now it pumps out 192 horsepower and it's paired to a CVT automatic transmission. The transmission's down in here, can't really see it very good. See a little bit there, but it's a CVT, continuously variable transmission. So there's not a set amount of gears, it just has different speed ratios, which accommodates for an infinite amount of speed ratios. The inside of the driver's side door is just like the other side, except for it has a few more buttons. So your power windows, the front two are automatic, one touch up and down. And then your door lock controls are here, and then the side mirrors are adjusted. You just pick a side, left or right, and adjust it with that little pad. There's the ability to open up your trunk from inside in the driver position. There's the pockets there. So the driver's seat usually one-ups the passenger, and this is no exception. It has a power seat to begin with, but has a tilt, raise and lower, just like a dentist chair. I mean, you can have all these different options here. Tilt to the back, and then you have a four-way lumbar adjustment. Here to the left of the steering column, you can reset your trip with this button. Interior gauge dimmer switch is here. You can turn off your traction control. Default will be on, but if you need to spin tire or something like that, you can turn it off. And then this is kind of like a button, it's kind of like a shortcut button that takes you to your safety system there on your dash, and I'll show you that in a few minutes. It does have a tilt and a telescoping steering column. There's the lever for that. Okay, so I'm sitting in the driver's seat checking it out, and I have the seat all the way down and all the way back. And what's crazy is it feels like when I put the seat all the way down, this is my eye level. Like I'm looking at the side of the door here. It just feels like I'm sitting on the floor. I'm just like way down here. So typically I would typically have the seat all the way down and all the way back since I'm 6 feet tall. With vehicles, the leg room is okay. I could drive like this since it's an automatic transmission. The footrest here is at a nice angle, but the height is just so low. It's amazing how low the seat goes. It feels like I'm sitting on the ground. But anyways, the knee room is good. You can see your accelerator in relationship to the console is good. Okay, so here's the steering wheel. It's a leather wrap steering wheel. And it has these grips here. Has a little bit of a cushion to it, so it's not like super duper digging into your hands, and the thickness is nice. I think overall it's a nice feeling steering wheel. So your cruise control is here on the right side, so you can turn it on and then you can set it, resume, cancel. But it also has the adaptive cruise control. You can set the distance between you and the vehicle in front of you with this button. It'll show up there on the screen. Little indicator bars there. And then your lane keep assist, you can turn that on or off, so you can see there. So that's why it says main. So it's not just your cruise control, it's the adaptive cruise control and then your safety systems here. So instead of saying on and off on the cruise control, it says your main setting there. Here on the left side, you have your volume for your radio, your Bluetooth controls. You can answer calls, hang up, voice recognition. You have this home button, and then you have this little scroll wheel and left and right. Now the left and right is for your radio stations, so you can change through tracks, audio tracks or radio stations, that kind of thing. But the scroll wheel, and then you can actually push this button in, corresponds with the screen between the gauges, and I'll show you that in just a minute. There's actually paddle shifters back here. So even it's weird because this has a CVT transmission, so there's no gear ratios to climb up and down. So basically it just simulates gears. So if you need to have more power or whatever, you want to control the transmission, you can use the paddle shifters here. But just keep in mind, it's simulating gears. It's not actually gears in there to change. And then you have your windshield wiper controls and your turn signal controls, but you also have your headlight controls as well. So off, parking light, automatic, and headlights. There's your fog lights there. So looking at the gauges, this portion here on the right side is actually a physical speedometer. The left portion is a part of a screen. You can see where the light glaring off of it, that part is a screen, so it's customizable. Now you do have your engine coolant temperature here on the left side, fuel gauge there on the right side, odometer, outside temperature, your safety features there, all that good stuff. But if we want to use this little scroll wheel, remember this little button here? So I'm going to push the home button, and it's going to pop this up, and I can scroll through here, and I can change what's in this round portion. So we originally had the tachometer, the RPMs there. So let's go to range and fuel so we can see what that looks like. Speed and time. And I'm scrolling up and down here, so there's different ones you can reset. Audio, we can see what that looks like. We can change to the source by going up and down, which is pretty cool. Phone. Traffic sign. So this will actually tell you, uses that camera I showed you earlier to look at traffic signs. So if it shows you what the speed limit sign, the last speed limit sign was that it passed, and it shows up there. It's pretty cool. Especially if you're in an area that you're not familiar with, you can whoa, you don't know what the speed limit is? Well, the camera will go ahead and catch it for you if there is a speed limit sign. Driving support, so it'll give you information here, regarding your adaptive cruise control and your lane keep assist, that kind of thing. Driver attention, this somehow keeps an eye on the way you steer and the way you move the vehicle, and see if maybe suggest a brake or something like that if you're kind of wandering around the road. And there's your maintenance, safety support. Okay, so remember this button down here, this basically pops up the ability to turn on and off safety features here, like forward collision warning and that kind of thing. All right, now you notice it says press and hold to change speed, distance, units, okay? But if you do that, you notice there's no digital speedometer. But if you press and hold this button, and you're not, this isn't helping either really, but if you press and hold this button, it pops up a digital speedometer here, but it's in kilometers per hour. So you don't actually have a miles per hour digital speedometer. You just have now in Canada and other countries, this will actually be in kilometers per hour, and then this will be miles per hour. So, if you want a digital speedometer, they just don't have it. It just has that popping up only when you have kilometers per hour. Okay. So this is your touch screen, and it has a physical volume knob tuned through the stations, and these physical buttons here on the sides here. It's actually raised up little buttons. Those are kind of quick shortcuts. So the home button is here, and basically, you have your icons. It's similar to your cell phone, in which you can, quickly choose different selections here. Now it does have the ability to have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto by plugging in those particular devices. But as far as your phone, once you connect your phone, you'll have access to, you know, recent calls, your phone book, that kind of thing. And you can go into your settings here. Radio, see what that looks like. So you have your presets there at the bottom, showing you what your station you're in, and that kind of thing. And Bluetooth audio, smartphone connection. This is your Android Auto type deal. You do have the ability to play through a USB device. There's your different apps there. I like this because it shows you the date and time. So let's say you just want to focus on the time, you're running late for work or to an appointment or whatever, you can focus on that. Even though it's nice and prominent there in the corner, this is just kind of a way to have less distraction on the screen. That's another thing. And also it has the date, so that's pretty cool. You have a compass. That's kind of just a general idea of what the screen's all about. So down here, there's your four-way flashers, and then this is your climate control. So it's a dual zone, driver and passenger. You can sync them both if you'd like. So that way the driver and passenger has the same temperature. We can adjust the temperature here. You can see it changes colors, which is pretty cool. So as I go colder, it turns blue. As I go to the right, it turns red. Isn't that neat? Then you can change where you want the air to blow if you want to do it manually, recirculate the air, your fan speed, front and rear defrosters, and your air conditioning, all that good stuff. This opens up, and there's a USB port. Now this is where you want to connect your phone for Android Auto or Apple CarPlay. And then there's your 12-volt power supply and a little storage compartment in here. And it's big enough to where you can put your cell phone in there, plug it in, and close it up if you want to. There's cup holders. It's nice and wide open, so you can utilize it for other things besides just cups. And here's your shifter, and let's go ahead and put it in reverse so we can check out the backup camera. So it has a super wide view, more linear view, and then a top-down view. So the super wide view, you can actually see cars coming from either side. So you can see it's all stretched out, but you have really good visibility. You can see right there to the right or left of the vehicle. So backing out of a parking space, it makes it a lot easier when you have it like this. You have to get used to the orientation of things around you when you look at the screen, though. It takes a little getting used to. There's neutral, drive. That's your normal drive position. It does have an eco mode and sport, so if you want fuel economy, that's where you want to go. Sport is more performance oriented without the fuel economy as much. Electronic parking brake will lift that up to engage it. To disengage it, you hold the brake and push it down. Then it has a brake hold feature, so that way if you want to sit, if you turn this on, basically it's going to hold the brake for you while you're sitting in traffic or sitting anywhere for an extended period of time. So when you come to a complete stop and you hold the brake and then let go, even if you're in drive, it'll hold the brake for you. So that way if you're sitting in, whatever, you don't have to hold the brake, red light or whatever. Okay, so this is your armrest, and it's quite wide, so you might be able to share it with a passenger. And it's kind of rubbery soft. It's not like super cushy soft. It does give, but it's not like a pillow or anything. But it is big, so that's nice. And this lifts up. And I like the way it doesn't slam back down. So you lift it up and you let go, it just kind of stays where it is. It's kind of stiff. So it doesn't slam on you. You can lift it up, it keeps on going to right there. And it doesn't go up that high. So it does kind of get in your way when you're trying to access this compartment. Okay, so it has this little tray that's removable, and it's kind of rubbery on the inside. And then you have a wide open space here. 12-volt power supply in there as well. And it has this rubber liner, so that way you can take it out and clean it and put it back in. But this, the way this it just doesn't go up that far. If it went up a little bit higher, it'd get out of the way of your arm, because that's right where my particular arm is trying to get to access this compartment. So I kind of have to reach around it to, you know, it's a little bit inconvenient there. But anyways, it does have a pretty big compartment there. Rear view mirror has a manual day and night mode. Tap lights up here. You turn on the interior lights with the door or not with that button. And this is your place to put your shades, and it has this foam here in the back, but right in here there's no protection. But it's nice and big, so you can put huge glasses or safety glasses or whatever in there. There's the visor, and it has like a cloth. There's a light, mirror. It extends out. Basically the same thing on the passenger side. Okay, so let's look at the visibility in the back. It does have the windows there on the back pillars. Helps out. I think the visibility is overall good, just looking over my shoulder and stuff, and the side mirrors and all that, it's all good. And also has a really good camera system. Alright, so there you have it. Thank you for watching, and thank you to East Coast Honda here in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. And I'll see you guys next time.